Coming up on CTV News, a senior skip day turns violent. Plus, it's Earth Day, and a new library opens to the public. Those stories and more, CTV News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Mariah Jalad with a CTV News update. A third temporary channel through the Port of Baltimore is opened by Unified Command. Over the weekend, another limited access route was opened for commercially essential vessels to safely travel around the wreckage of the Key Bridge. U.S. Coast Guard officials say they estimate the channel to allow about 15% of pre-collapse commercial activity. Recreational boats were also allowed to pass the collapse site for a short time on Sunday. Unified Command has been removing hundreds of tons of debris from the Patapsco River and shipping containers from the cargo ship Dolly to get the Port of Baltimore running again. And a senior skip day event in Greenbelt left 5 teenagers shot over the weekend. Police say Friday afternoon, at least 500 to 600 high school seniors gathered at Scrum Hills Park in Greenbelt for a water gun fight. Due to the volume of students, Maryland State Police dispatched reinforcements to the area to assist in dispersing the crowd and managing traffic. Greenbelt Police Chief Richard Bowers noted that shortly after officers arrived, they heard 8 to 10 gunshots. 3 of the teenagers have been released from the hospital. 1 is in critical condition, and anyone with information, police are asking to call at 301-474-7200. And today is Earth Day, and state leaders are calling on Marylanders to ditch their cars for public transportation. To commemorate Earth Day, the Maryland Transit Administration is providing free rides on local bus services, light rail, metro, MARC train, and the commuter bus. This global initiative is designed to encourage environmental conservation and sustainable living across the world. And Earth Day is a time to admire, celebrate, and protect our home planet. Earth's beauty is not only defined by breathtaking landscapes, but also by vast oceans that cover more than 70% of our planet's surface. This Earth Day, NASA is conducting a global pulse check of our oceans through its newest satellite called PACE. Since its launch in February, the Plankton Aerosol Cloud Ocean Ecosystem Satellite has been changing how scientists view the ocean.
What PACE can tell us is the color of the oceans. The ocean isn't just blue, it also has shades of green. And those shades of green tell us what's living in it. And there's these little tiny particles called phytoplankton, and different type of phytoplankton have different impacts. So they're the base of the food chain, so they can lead to things like fisheries. Some of them are toxic and can lead to harmful algal blooms. And so what PACE is able to do is give us more information on the precise color of the ocean so that we can understand what's living there and then understand the impact it might have on food, on harmful algal blooms, on carbon dioxide absorption in the ocean, on climate.
For more information about NASA's Earth science missions and research, visit nasa.gov/earth. And Maryland's federal lawmakers present a local environmental group with an investment toward improving one of the county's major waterways. U.S. Senators Chris Van Hollen and Ben Cardin and Representative Glenn Ivey announced $225,000 in federal funding for the Anacostia Water Society's efforts to rehabilitate the river.
It's coming back. 30 years ago, the river was considered one of the most polluted rivers in the United States. It was considered by the communities all along the river as a place you just didn't want to go. 30 years later, water quality is steadily improving, habitat and wildlife are returning, and just as importantly, you're seeing activity on the river. You're seeing boaters, you're seeing kayakers. The river is returning to being a real resource for local communities in a way that it hasn't been.
All part of our commitment to reclaim our environment. On Earth Day, I think we have to sort of pause a moment. The Chesapeake Bay is iconic to our community. It's part of our way of life. It's the largest estuary in our hemisphere. It's important for our future, it's important for our economy, it's important for our presence. But we have to do much more in order to preserve it. But we can celebrate, because what you're doing here in Anacostia has a direct impact.
Other investments secured for the county include funding for stormwater drainage in Cottage City, a replacement lift pump assembly in Bowie, and over $1.5 million to upgrade storm drains and develop flood prevention in Cheverly. The top two Democratic candidates for U.S. Senate faced off Friday night in a one-hour televised debate. Some of the discussion between Congressman David Trone and Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks focused on who is the better candidate to beat former Governor Larry Hogan. Hogan jumped into the Senate race hours before the filing deadline. Controversial topics such as abortion and the death penalty were also discussed during the debate. And after the break, a county council member is launching a program to help residents boost their credit scores. You're watching CTV News. We'll be back in a moment.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back. Did you know that people of color generally have lower credit scores and less access to financial services? One county council member is looking to change that. Edward Burrows is partnering with the Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union and the Financial Empowerment Center at Prince George's Community College to launch a program to help residents boost their credit scores and secure a healthier financial future.
Resident in District 8 that lives in a 6-mile radius of the MGM will be able to open up an account with the Federal Credit Union, make monthly payments into this account of $44 a month. We will match that. And at the end of the program, the resident gets to walk away with every dime that they put in and $500 from us. And each month that they make their on-time payments, we will report that to the credit bureaus as on-time payments.
The program is funded through the MGM Local Impact Grant Fund. And police are investigating a fatal pedestrian accident that occurred over the weekend. It happened Saturday night at about 8:40 near the Aldi store on the 9400 block of Annapolis Road in Seabrook. Investigators say the man who was hit died on the scene. The driver did remain at the scene, and the cause of the collision is still being determined. Anyone with information is asked to call police. And a judge sentences an Oxon Hill man to 7 years behind bars for carjacking a rideshare driver in D.C. Investigators say 23-year-old Derek Teeter requested a Lyft ride on June 2nd of 2022. At some point during that ride, Teeter asked the driver to pull over into a grassy area, saying he didn't feel well. Teeter lured him out of the car by asking for water and tissue. That's when Teeter pushed the driver to the ground, hopped in the car, and sped off, dragging the victim for a short distance. The driver flagged down another driver who called 911. The victim's vehicle was recovered the following day. And Maryland Supreme Court Justice Michelle Houghton retires over the weekend after reaching the mandatory retirement age of 70. Houghton was known for her empathy and as a trailblazer. She had nearly a decade on the High Court and almost 30 years of service at each level of the state judiciary. Houghton was the first black woman appointed to the Prince George's Circuit Court, as well as the first black woman to serve on any Maryland appellate court. In 2015, she became the first black judge and first woman from the county to be appointed to Maryland's highest court. And renovations at the Surratt's Clinton Library are complete and the facility is officially open. A ribbon cutting was held this morning to mark the moment. The library closed in 2019 for the rebuilding project, which took longer than many residents expected. The branch has nearly 26,000 feet of space, scores of public computers, more than 30,000 books, and even a fireplace. Officials say 500 people turned out to get their new library cards at the soft opening last month.
Oh, that tells me that there's interest in using the library, that libraries have a place in our country, present and future, and that people use print and electronic resources. People want to check out books. This is tremendous. Opening a new library location in the community, impacting serving the community more fully, and in this particular case, although the original building was dedicated in 1980, this was a 5-year process to develop this new space and location.
The Surratt's Clinton Branch Library is located at 9400 Piscataway Road in Clinton. And after the break, Simon Buggs is here to talk high school baseball.
What's up, sports fans? And coming up soon, I got the chance to speak to some coaches as well as players from the Bowie High School baseball team about their dominant season. I'll have more what they had to say in a bit. You don't want to miss it. Stay right there.
My name is Tyleek. I live with my grandma. During the summer, I have meals at the Boys and Girls Club. When I eat food here, I'm not hungry and I can go out and have fun. Food gives me energy and it also helps me focus. What my family means to me is they love me for who I am. I love them because they make sure I'm good. It's really cool.
Everybody, hope you had a great weekend. It's time for your Monday Sports Page. The Bowie High School baseball team is currently in the midst of another really good season. The Bulldogs currently have a record of 10-2 and are first in the county. I was able to catch up with head coach Gorman Johnson about why the team has been so good this season, and he gave credit to the team's pitching, defense, and hitting.
For the most part, us being 10-2, it's been an all-around thing. It has been pitching has led us. And that's usually the big thing for our team, pitching. And then we have good defense. Our defense has been real immaculate this year. We had a couple, like a few here, there, not too bad, but defense has been a real big key, along with timely hitting. Okay, we've been hitting the ball pretty well on the teams that we're supposed to hit.
The Bulldogs will go up against some stiff competition today as they will be on the road taking on Flowers. Flowers is also playing very well this season as they have a record of 9-3. And catcher Caden Dixon as well as coach Willie Hines gave their thoughts on what the team needs to do in order to come out on top against the Jaguars.
I'd say just make sure our defense is locked in and just, past couple games we've been struggling to put bat on the ball, so just work on that and we'll be fine.
So for us to come out on top, we have to bring the same intensity at the first game, which is don't be afraid of your competition and don't be afraid of the moment. What I try to do is build pressure in practice. When the pressure happens in game, it comes much easier and they're more relaxed. And as long as they stay together, play with the same intensity, I think we can get another win today.
The Bulldogs and Jaguars took the field at 4:30. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Capitals fell to their first round matchup of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the New York Rangers, yesterday, 4-1. The Caps are now down 0-1 in this series and will try to tie it up tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Monday Sports Page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear. Tuesday will be mostly sunny with a high of 69. Wednesday, we have a 30% chance of rain with a high of 71. And Thursday will be nice and clear. We'll have a high of 60 and a low of 40. And now for the community calendar, Bowie Police Chief Dwayne Preston is hosting his monthly Community Matters event. The meeting allows city residents to meet members of the Chief's command staff and get information on the latest crime trends. The event takes place Wednesday night at the Fairmont at South Lakes Apartments. For more information, contact the number on your screen. And that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Mariah Jalad. Join us again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Good night.